Okay. Let me hope you're seeing the screen.
Yes.
Okay. So we are continuing with the study skills strategies during test. Like I've told you before, this is not something new. It's something actually you have done it and you will still do it. So we are just reminding ourselves of what we are supposed to in case. So during the test, you need to trust your initial instincts when choosing an answer for multiple choice questions. This one apply when you are completely out of an idea. You don't have any clue on which options to select, but you have to trust your initial or the first instinct. If the answer is A or B, based on that, and then select your multiple choice answers. Otherwise, if you keep on thinking twice or many times, you end up losing it. For me, actually, multiple choice is the hardest because you find that almost the answers are the same. However, the three are wrong, but only one correct answer is among them. So it becomes very difficult for you to, to choose which answer is correct. So here they say that you need to trust your initial instinct. It might be the right one. The next one is you need to carry a watch to manage time effectively. In examination, they normally have a wall clock whereby you have to be checking it at least after every 10 minutes. That will help you to be on track. But if you ignore the wall clock, you're just concentrating on attempting or writing your answers, you might find that you spent 1 full hour just attempting one question. Make it fast. Because one question might be out of 20 questions. If you spend 1 full hour attempting only one question, it means your chances of passing is very narrow. The next attempt, you may be able to attempt them. So make sure that you check the time. If you don't have your personal watch, you need to make use of the wall clock. The next one is stay calm and focused when faced with challenging questions. So it means you don't need to panic. Okay. Some students are very funny. The moment they see unfamiliar question or unfamiliar term, they start panicking. Okay? In 1 minute, someone is already sweating. So if you are of that nature, you'll be disorganized. So when you see the question is very hard, just relax, take it easy. Okay? Just move to the next question instead of panicking, sweating, because panicking itself will make you disorganized, and then the little you have read will actually disappear. And what happens if it disappears? Of course, the enemy will attack you at your performance for a total failure. So these are some of the strategies you must master during examination. Now, after test, what strategy do you need to use after test? One is you need to attend exams review conducted by the instructor to reinforce memory. Exams review can be in terms of question approach and the interpretation. The tutor will always discuss with the student. For example, the tutor can ask you, how was the exams? Okay. Then your response, others will say the exams was fair, others will say too hard, uh, others will say the exams. And then for you, when the student, when the exams is very hard, you can of course ask the teacher, what is the interpretation of question one or question B? So the teacher will be able to help you interpret the question. But that should not scare you in case you have misinterpreted the question. Okay, it should not scare you. That will prepare you for the next exams. You never know. Maybe the same question will appear again. Okay? So when the same question comes back, it means you have already known the interpretation from your tutor. So it's very important you need to always attend exams review, which is led by your tutor. Many people or many students they don't want to attend that. After you writing exams, you call it off. I'm done with exams. I'm waiting for the next paper. That's not right. You need to always attend the review. The next one is even if not interested in the content, attending reviews helps you understand instructors' expectations. The expectations could be in terms of performance. If the paper is extremely hard, the tutor or the person who set the question actually know that the paper is hard, then he doesn't expect the people to perform highly. So by you attending the exams review, the teacher will be able to explain to you his or her expectations in terms of your performance. And that's why for some tutors, they normally favor if you get maybe let me say 20 out of 50, the question is, I mean the exam is out of 50, but you manage to get 20, they will give you extra 5 marks, okay, to push you because of the nature of the question. Because some questions are very difficult to interpret. So learning from the instructor's feedback improves performance on subsequent exams. Like I've explained to you before, if the teacher has explained to you how a certain question can be interpreted or approached, so the next time the same question comes, I don't think you will fail. I really don't think you will fail because the interpretation was already made clear to you, the approach was made clear to you during the exams review. So it's upon you to perform this time around. So it's very important for you as a student to always attend the review. Then test taking strategy involves actions before, during, after exams to enhance success. So that's the summary now. So before the examination, you need to get prepared. During the exams, you know what to do. I've told you in the previous meeting that you need to start with the what? The simplest question. That will give you momentum to attempt the hardest. But if you start with the hardest one, of course you're going to get disorganized. You know, some students are wiseacres. They brag a lot. You want to always go with the hardest questions. Why do you want to go with the hardest question? When you know that you have the cheapest question to pass. So my advice to you is that do not be like those students who are wiseacres. They only go for hard things, but they are not performing. So for you, you need to look for the one which you can easily perform, and then you go to the next paper. I mean, the next question, which is hard. So during the exams, I've already told you, keep checking the wall clock. If you do not have your watch, keep checking the wall clock. In most cases, one question takes about 45 minutes. For those of you who have been in high school arts department, okay? History or divinity or economics, one question takes 45 minutes. So you need to make sure that by 45 minutes, you are done with the question one. But if you're not yet done with the question one, then you've already spent 45 minutes. Please move to the next question because you're going to waste a lot of time on that number which carries only maybe 25 marks or 20 marks depending on the marks allocation. So after the exams, of course, attend exams review with your tutor. So basically, these are some of the strategies you need to know or you need to master as a student at this level. Now let us look at the note-taking essential. What is note-taking? I've told you last time that the note-taking is basically a summary of, of paragraphs. Okay, a summary of what you are reading or a topic. It helps you to easily memorize what you've been reading because in one paragraph you might find a lot of lines, a lot of words, but through note-taking you're able to focus only on the main points to make sure that you stay on track. So effective note-taking is also for university studies. In fact, not only studies, even at workplace, you are attending a very important meeting with your manager. Make sure that you take notes. If you're watching news, make sure that you take what? You take notes. That will help you to remember the whole event. But if you don't take notes, of course, our memory is not like computers. You can easily forget some crucial elements of the speech. So you need to make sure that take notes, not only at the studies level, but all aspects of life, if necessary. Take note. So the benefits of revision, integration with your writing, speaking, plagiarism, prevention. So we are going to have a presentation on plagiarism. I'm sure some of you might be familiar with the word plagiarism, but others might not. So plagiarism is basically copying and pasting of someone's work. Okay, you claim the ownership of the work. You just go there and put your name and your registration number, your course, then you submit the assignment. Yet the assignment was done by someone. That's what you call plagiarism. So it's very important for you at this level to avoid plagiarism. You need to be authentic, original. Use your brain. Okay. If you get 50%, but it is your brain, you never copied, you never cheated, then be proud of it. That is your sweat. Than someone who has 90 or 100% but has been cheating, has been involved in exams practices. That's very unfortunate. You cannot even celebrate your success because you know you have cheated somewhere. So note taking helps you a lot in avoiding plagiarism because during the note taking, you are basically writing what you know or how you understand it. So basically, that is the concept of taking. Now, let us look at what is note taking by definition. Note taking is just writing information systematically. So it involves capturing the main ideas, relevant details, and integrating sources. So to form two forms, one we have the lecture or discussion notes, and then reading notes. With the lecture stroke discussion notes, this is what I'm doing. I'm here discussing or presenting to you on the study skills. So as a student, I expect you to be taking notes. However much you have already access to the learning resources, okay, you need to take notes because the learning resources is not summarized. But if you take notes, you are able to remember it because it is your work. You are actually the one that copy. So notes can be now when you are revising the content, the reading material. Okay, you can also be taking notes. For example, if you are reading from the library, so what you need to do is get a pen and a piece of paper and start taking notes. That will help you a lot to stay focused. Okay, you will not be dozing because reading itself is a lot of work. For us, when we were in high school, we have morning preps and the evening preps. The evening preps normally starts from 7:30 and it will end at the 10. That's the evening preps. Then the morning preps, you're supposed to wake up by 4:30, go and shower. Whenever it is raining or not, you go and shower at that time. Then you go to class and start revising. So you'll be dozing, you feel sleepy if you don't take notes. You are there pretending to be reading, forcing to read. Since you are dormant, you're not writing, of course you can easily doze. And what happens when you're dozing? You lose control. Your body system will all be relaxing. And it's very dangerous if you are dozing, the body system is relaxed. You know what will happen. Of course, I don't need to go into that. So it helps you a lot in staying focused when you're taking notes during reading. So basically, that's about note taking. It's not something new for us. We are just revising it. So now let us look at the 5 R's of note taking. The first R is the recording. Recording, you need to capture the main ideas and facts. It means you have to ignore other things. You might find one full paragraph on maybe plagiarism, but you don't need to take note of all the words you are seeing. Just focus on the main. For example, plagiarism, what is it all about? Just have a small note there. The consequences, have the small notes there, and then the types of plagiarism, have a small notes there. So you can summarize the paragraph of maybe 5, 8 lines into just 1 or 2 lines. Okay, that is recording. So just capture the main ideas, ignore these other unnecessary words. Then reducing. The next R is reducing. Reducing means you have to summarize and pick out key terms and the concepts. So the explanation of recording and reducing look as if they are similar, but they are not because in recording you just capture the main ideas and facts. Then in reducing, it's all about the summary. You can summarize the main idea into just 2 or 3 words. Yet, when you're recording your main idea, instead of having 5 lines, you can have 3 lines. But with reducing, you can pack it only very few Well, that's about summary. Then reciting. Reciting means you have to review notes in your own words to ensure understanding, because the author might be using a very technical words, but for you as a student, you want to understand it easily, you need to recite it. So later on, we're going to look at plagiarism, and we shall look at one of the methods of minimizing, not avoiding plagiarism, by doing what we call paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is simply rewriting the original text in your own understanding without necessarily changing its meaning. So the next R, which is reciting, just means you have to rewrite the original text without changing its meaning. So let us continue. Reflecting. Reflecting is all about you thinking, go deeper about the concept or about the topic you are reading. Do not just read for the sake of reading because the material has been provided for you to read. No, think deeper. In the process of thinking or in the process of analyzing the content, you realize some errors. No, we can't avoid errors. Errors are human. You can't avoid them. But if you don't reflect on what you're reading, you might find yourself reading irrelevant things. So reflection helps a lot to make sure that you are not taking note of irrelevant things. For example, if you're taking notes on the importance of communication, then you come across a word which is not relevant because you are so reflective on the topic, which is the importance of communication. Of course, you'll easily detect it and then avoid it. But if you're not reflecting on the topic, which is the importance of communication, you'll be taking note of everything, things which are not relevant. So that is R number 4. Then the last R is review. Review is just like studying, okay, or revisiting your books, notes which you have already taken. It helps you to prepare for the examination for those who are going to write exams, and also it helps you in terms of preparing for interview. If you're having a job interview, right, which is a written interview, you need to review what you had summarized during note taking. So basically, these are the 5 areas of note taking you need to familiarize yourself with it. They are not complicated. In fact, they are just the things which you have been doing, but maybe you didn't know that they are the 5 areas of taking notes. Now, let us look at the steps towards effective note taking. How do you make sure that you are taking effective notes? Number one is use full size paper for clear organization. That means you need to plug the full size paper instead of using half. If you use a half paper, it's like you are not organized. Some of you might think that why do I need to use full paper when I'm only summarizing 3 or 5 words? It doesn't look nice. Okay, so you need to plug the paper, make use of the full size instead of folding it or dividing it into 3 or 4. You're trying to be economical by economizing the paper. You are 5 and you want to divide the one paper or the one page among yourself. That one is not acceptable. So you need to write with a blue point pen for speed. Some people would like to write with the red pen, but when I was a kid, they told me that writing with the red pen is like showing danger to someone. Okay, if someone writes your name in red pen, it means the person has put you in a blacklist. So avoid using red pen. However, in our time, you could use red pen for only heading. Then the main text will be in either blue pen or black pen. So for taking notes, you need to use a blue pen. Reason one is that it increases the speed than using a pencil. And besides, why would a university student like you use a pencil for taking notes? It is rare. Okay, maybe you can use pencil for drawing a map if you are or maybe diagram for illustration. If the module or the course you are undertaking has an element of drawing diagrams, but if there is no element of drawing diagram, don't use pencil. Then another disadvantage of using a pencil is you can easily lose the data. Okay? It can rub off. So use blue pen or black. Then keep course notes together in a notebook section. So this platform allows you to visit the notes all the time, but we advise you to download it. I don't know by this time if you can be able to download the notes. It's very important for you to download the notes to save the of internet, high cost of data, always visiting the website, reading online. It becomes very expensive in terms of data. So you need to make sure that your notes are downloaded. Okay, if you don't want to print it, it's okay, but at least you need to make sure that you have a folder which contains your notes. That is very important for easy retrieval, and also it is an element of being serious and organized. The next one is date and title each day's notes. This is very important. Many people, many students don't want to keep record of date, but it's very important you need to have a date. The date will help you to know when you visited that topic, okay, when you revise the book, help you to know that. Then the title also will help you to know if you're looking for a particular topic. The title is already there, the heading is already there. You'll just go there and then find your notes. But just imagine you don't have the date, you don't have the title, but you have almost 5, 7 pages of notes which you have summarized. So how do you revise without title, without heading? In fact, title is just like the heading. Revision without heading is very difficult. You not know actually what you are revising because there's no title. So it's very important. You need to have title, especially you need to have title. Don't miss out on the title. Maybe you can coincidentally miss on the date, but for the title, it is important. Don't miss. So take notes on the one side of the page, margin. So I don't know how I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'll just use this slide here. So the way you see my points are just on one side of the margin. So that's how you are not supposed to. And in most cases, we use uh, bullet, or we bullet the notes just like a main point. One main point, go to the next line, go to the next line, like that. Do not have more than 3 points on the same line. That's not note. You're not taking note. Just make sure that when you're done with the first line, you just move to the next line of your paper for easy remembering and also for organization. Then you need to write legibly to avoid confusion. Most students seem to be busy when it comes to academic work. They give very little time for academics. And when someone is writing, the person just confuses him or herself by writing unnecessarily. Instead of being organized and in order to avoid confusion, you find someone writing the heading. For example, plagiarism is the heading. Then under plagiarism, you are finding that the importance of communication. You are going to make even life very complicated for you when it comes to reading. The heading is reading something different, but the body is another thing. So make sure that you avoid such kind of confusion by being consistent. You need to know what you are actually writing. You need to know the heading of the body. You might not necessarily look at the heading, but the moment you look at the body, just know that this is the plagiarism. Instead of having a plagiarism, then in the body you're talking about advantages of professional communication easy. So basically, these are some of the steps towards effective note taking. You need to familiarize yourself with. Now let us look at the systematic and organized as a strategy of studies. One is the systematic note-taking. Note-taking is actually an element of the study skill. So in exams, when you are asked to mention two or one study skill, one of which is the note-taking. Note-taking is the study skill. So follow on outline format, main points, secondary ideas, and the details. This one is more of essay writing, more of essay writing. With essay writing, the first thing is introduction. You need to make sure that you introduce your question. So after introduction, then you go to the main point, okay, which is this one basically. Go to your main points and you do not hide your main points. Some students are good at hiding main points. Let me give a simple, let me set a simple question. Which one? Which one? Okay. Maybe the question is asking you to explain the contribution, the economic contribution of entrepreneurship in South Sudan. That is the question. Explain the economic distribution, contribution of entrepreneurship in South Sudan. Now, for you, instead of beginning with the main point, maybe you can talk of creation of employment opportunity as your main point. Then someone will start by saying that the contribution of the contribution of entrepreneurship in economic development of South Sudan is how many words are these? Okay, you might find that now your main point is in the middle of the paragraph, or it is even in the next line. That is not being organized and systematic. Make sure that if the point is employment opportunity, it should be clearly stated with the full stop. Now, the secondary ideas. In terms of essay writing, the secondary idea is basically the explanation. If your main point is creation of employment opportunity, now in the secondary idea, which is the explanation, how do you explain that? You can say entrepreneurs, they establish companies, business enterprises, which gives jobs to people. That's the explanation. Okay. Then, if you are going into details, you can give some examples of this enterprise. Okay, the private companies, the entrepreneurs. You can give examples of them. Then your essay. That's how we write a standard essay format. And then also in notes taking, that's what you need to do. Okay, main points, secondary ideas, and then the details. You can all summarize this in just 2 lines as you're taking notes. But you might find that in the text, it could be something of 5 to 10 lines. But for you, you've decided to summarize it only in 2 lines. That one helps you to avoid the burden of too much reading. Because if you are directly reading from the textbook or from a note, you get tired. It will take time for you to finish one page and then you feel like you are already exhausted. But if you're reading your summary or the notes, then it becomes very easy for you to understand it. Then here they're saying that use indentings and spacing for clarity. Indentings or indents means basically we have two types of paragraph. Let me begin by that. By default, we have block paragraph, and then we have indented. With a block paragraph, it starts immediately from the margin, like the one you are seeing here on the screen. It starts from margin. That's what we call block paragraph. Then with the indent, it's a little bit some centimeter from the back. From the margin. So here they are saying that you need to use indent and then spacing for uh, clarity. But it doesn't matter even if you start your note taking or you start taking notes from margin. I don't think you will have a big problem. But the scholars are advising us to begin at least some centimeter from the margin. So these are some of the tricks you need to understand if you want to be systematic and then organized when taking notes. Now let us look at the signals of importance. Notes taking, how is it important? Recognize signals that indicate important information. What signals are we talking about here? When you are revising your notes, sometimes they put their link. The link is normally in in blue. So when you see a word in blue, that means the author had inserted there the link. So when you click on it, it will take you to a very important information. So even when you're using internet for search or doing your assignment, the moment you come across a blue word, so that means there is a link inserted in that word. Just click on that word, it will take you to a very important resource or a very important information about the concept. Then write down Blackboard content definitions and the enumerations. So you need to clearly define what you're writing. Okay. If you write things you can't define, then it becomes very difficult for you to remember. You can write it, but you need to know what you are writing for easy remembrance and then mastering. Then pay attention to emphasize words and the repeated points. So pay attention to emphasis, words, and the repeated points. You can be repeating points because of maybe you were absent-minded or you were in rush. Okay, you end up repeating points. So you need to be also watching on that to avoid repetition. Repetition will take your time and also will, in one way or the other, confuse you. So make sure that you don't have a repeated point when you are taking note. Not just taking note, even when you're writing an essay or paragraph, don't do that. And also in examination, sometimes you find yourself repeating the same and the same paragraph. Okay, paragraph one is the same as paragraph two or paragraph three. So the examiner will just mark one paragraph and then goes to the next paragraph and then write there scene to show you that he had seen what you had done. So be careful of repeating points. Then note changes in the lecturer's tone and the pace. I don't know if I'm faster, it also affects. So if the tutor is faster, you can tell the tutor to slow down to allow you to take notes. Some tutors are very fast. Okay, they lecture at a very high speed, and the tone is either low or high. So if the tone is low, you can tell the teacher to increase. Some people by nature they don't speak loudly. So if you have a teacher of that nature, it means you have to be sitting closer to the lecturer that you will not be disturbed by the low tone. Then the pace, if the speed is too much, of course you can tell him or her to reduce to give you ample time to take notes. Because if someone is really very fast and speedy for you, you are writing, you don't get anything. But before you finish the last point, the person is already in another point. So you end up forgetting what he or she has been saying. So be cautious about the pace and the tone. Now let's look at effective note-taking strategies. Write down examples and connecting details. What are the examples? Depends on what you are listening to, or it depends on what you are reading. Okay. If you are reading an article on family planning, so you need to write down the important example, then the connecting detail. What type of family planning does what, the effect, etc. So that one is very important because it gives you a complete understanding of the topic. But if you just write only the example without details, you can be reading the example, but without details, what will you do without details? Okay. The details in terms of examples, the details in terms of the effect or the what we call the outcome, etc. So you need to write them down. Then leave blank spaces for missed information. This happens when the tutor is speedy or faster. Okay. If the tutor is very fast, you need to leave a space. Then maybe consult your colleagues who are very speedy in writing. They will help you. Then you fill in that space. And then also maybe if you have not heard the word very well because the tone of the tutor is low, You also need to leave a space. Then you come back. But some students, for them, they'll get stuck and they get frustrated. The moment the teacher is very speedy and the tone is low, they say, ah, I'm not getting this guy. The guy is too fast, and then the person just gives up. But do not give up. Okay? Don't give up. Because we are missing on a very important information. So the best thing to do is leave the space so that you will later on fill in the space you left. Then participate in discussion and ask questions. Now that one is after the teacher has gone. If you have a group discussions, you need to take part in the discussion. Ask questions. The questions will give you answers to what you have missed or to what you don't know. But if you keep quiet, you don't want to ask questions, we normally say that you die silently. Okay? Don't die silently. Make noise to others. Then take notes throughout the entire class. Don't leave it hanging unless maybe you're not feeling well. That's when you can leave it halfway. But if you are really fine, in a very good mental state, make sure that you take the notes throughout the entire class. Because some lecturers normally conclude the vital information, very vital information. So as a student, make sure that take it throughout. That one is in the context of people who go to physical class. But in our context, you might not necessarily need to take the note through the entire class. But you can watch and then pause. If you're tired, you just pause it. Go and do whatever you're doing, then you can resume from there. But with the physical classes, you can't pause. The teacher will only say the class has ended. Then that's all we meet or tomorrow or next week. Okay. So in that situation, you need to make sure that you are actively taking your notes. Then review and organize notes promptly. As soon as the class has ended, you need to review and organize your notes. But with the students, they normally find it difficult to review their notes at the same time. They think like, I will review this later. When it comes to later you not even do it. And then you end up forgetting, and then you leave your work unorganized. So make sure that as soon as the teacher leaves the class, if that's a physical class, and if it is this online, as soon as you finish watching, you've been taking notes, make sure that you review and then organize. The advantage of reviewing immediately is that it enhances retention. You can easily understand or remember what the tutor had been saying. But if you don't do that, it's difficult for you to remember what the teacher has just said because you've taken time, maybe 2 days or even a week, to review your notes. Then enhance understanding and retention. Retention is basically keeping what you have learned or what you've been taking notes of. Okay, that's about retention. Understanding is all about having knowledge. Okay, having knowledge of what you have been studying. So these are two different things. Having knowledge and then retention. Retention can last for long. It is a long term. Okay, having knowledge or understanding can be short term. You understand it today, tomorrow, and then you forget. But it is the retention which helps you to keep it for longer and becomes part of you. And that's when we say that learning has actually taken place. Without retention, there's no learning. We have not learned anything if we can't retain what we have been reading. Basically, these are some of the effective note-taking strategies all of us need to know as we embark on this journey of academics. The next one is writing down examples. They are saying that essential steps are often overlooked. People don't want to follow the essential uh, steps in writing down the examples. So record teacher provided examples and marked them with X. X could be like example. Okay, the record that the teacher has made, the example the teacher is giving. So you need to mark them with X, meaning example. Because teachers normally give you a good example than you yourself. Why? Because they have been teaching that particular subject over and over again. Okay? We have some teachers with over 30 years of experience. 30 years of experience teaching the same course. It means that teacher can even come to class without necessarily the book and start teaching. Okay? So whatever examples such a teacher is providing, please you need to mark it. Then examples aid the comprehension of complex concepts. Okay. Comprehension simply means understanding and make use of the concept, interpretation or consumption of the concept. Some concepts are big in nature. You can't understand in one day. It takes time. It takes a lot of commitment. So if you have examples, it becomes very easy for you to understand the complex concepts. I don't know if you have ever come across a complex concept. For me, the complex the complex concept I've ever come across is when I was in I think O level. Chemistry used not to be my best subject. There is the concept of they call it what, hydrogen preparation of carbon dioxide, something like that. It was very complex. See, so if you have examples in place, it means you can easily understand such concepts. So it's very important for you as you're writing down the notes, you need to make sure that you take examples. It will help you a lot in understanding them. Then include at least one example per main point. Okay, one example per main point. So don't leave your main point without any example. It helps you a lot in understanding. And also, when you're writing exams, especially maybe end of semester or whatever exams you're writing, giving examples actually give you more marks. Okay. If you have a paragraph without any example, it's a boring paragraph. So the examiner will not be impressed. So for us in arts, we have a concept that you will be marked based on impression. The more you impress your marker or the examiner, the more mark you get. Okay, the question can be carrying 25 marks, but you have only 7 paragraphs, well explained, details, example. Then the teacher is impressed. Teacher will give you 25 out of 25 just on your your 7 paragraph. But someone can write over 25 paragraphs with no example, no explanation, something which is not relevant, no impression. Such a person might end up getting 7 out of 25, even 10 out of 25. So example per main point is very crucial if you are to pass highly. Actually, not just passing highly, but it shows that you are really mature. Okay, you have understood the concept very well. Now let us look at recording connecting details. How do you record connecting details while taking notes? So vital to capture connecting details. Don't just copy major points from the board. Okay, if you're in a physical class, do not just copy the major point from the board. So you need to make sure that you connect the details as you are taking notes from the board. Then connecting details bridge ideas in your notes. If you don't have connecting details, but you've taken notes, when you are reading the notes, you will not even understand it. Okay? You are seeing words there which are not organized, which are not connected, there's no bridge. Then you are like, now what is this? You end up confusing yourself. But if you have the ideas or the connecting details, then it becomes very easy for you to master content. The concept. Then ensure retention of relationships among concepts. So when you talk of relationship, we are talking about relevancy now. How relevant is the first concept to the next one? That's what you mean by relationships. If your first concept is not reflecting the second one, and then there's no any elements of organization there. So make sure that you have that kind of a relationship or relevance in your note when you're taking notes. So leave blank spaces. I think we already looked at the advantage of leaving blank spaces in case the teacher is very fast. It's will later on fill in, and also when the teacher has a very low tone, can also later on fill the spaces left. So keep space for missed information. Okay, the missed information can be because you have not had a teacher very well, or it can be because the teacher is very fast. Then seek help from classmates to fill in gaps. The appropriate time to seek help is my advice is that be after class. Okay, be after class. Because if you are trying to seek help from your classmate when the lecture is going on, when the teacher is actually speaking, you're distracting that person. Actually, for me, I will not give you attention because you are distracting me. So the best thing to do is you need to wait. Just leave your space there, calculate it. I don't know how many lines. Just leave the space there. Move to the next. So after the class, then you come to the student to seek for their help. But if you are very stubborn, you want to seek for their attention, I mean for the help, when the lecture is going on, you are also distracting your colleagues and they'll also get lost like you. So don't do that. Do it after class has ended. Then find a study partner for collaboration. With a study partner, you need to look for someone who is more brighter than you. Okay? But if you have a partner whom you are brighter than him or her, then it is very useless. Of what importance is it to you? It means you are basically helping the person you are partnering, but not helping yourself. But I'm not saying that you need to avoid also those ones. You don't need to avoid them. Okay? You don't need to avoid people who are not too bright. You don't need to avoid them because you need to help each other. But if you want help, if you really want help, don't partner with someone whom you are brighter because you will benefit. What are you going to get from him or her? Nothing. So the aspect here is if you want to be helped, look for someone who's brighter than you. And if you want to help your colleagues, then look for someone who is below you. So that's all about finding a study partner for collaboration. But don't go for someone who is just like you. Okay? You are bright, the person is also bright just like you, but not brighter than you. There is no any benefit. Okay? You are not too bright, the person is not too bright. What are you going to benefit? Nothing. So it should be brighter versus low or people who are not bright. I don't want to use the word dull. It looks too bad for me, but we use people who are not extremely bright. But I'm told that everyone is bright. It depends on the preparation. But I think that aspect sometimes works. Okay, everyone is bright. But it depends on how prepared you are or how committed you are. Okay, Miss, am I repeating this? Okay, active participation and the questions. Engage with the subject and instructor. Okay, every subject has its instructor, so you need to engage with the two. Before you engage with the instructor, of course, you have to first engage with the subject. Because for me, if you want to engage me, I first want to know what efforts have you put in place before you come to me. Okay, so I need to know your level of understanding before I help you. So for you to engage with the instructor, make sure that you engage with the subject or the module first. Then ask relevant questions to clarify confusion. You need to ask relevant questions to clarify confusion. With the physical classes, we have people who ask irrelevant questions. Okay, instead of asking relevant questions, they ask things which are not actually in the class. Ask things which are outside the class. then such students will not get the answer they want because they'll keep confused because they're asking irrelevant questions. That's not right. So we need to ask all these relevant questions. Then balance asking questions with the class participation. Do not always be someone who is ever asking questions. Okay. Sometimes you need to participate in class and maybe provide answers to some of the questions also. But if you're asking questions, you're not participating in the class, that's not right. And some students are very funny. They ask a question when they know the answer. You also have they are the so-called wiseacres. I know more. Okay. Why do you ask a question when you know the answer? It's like you're mocking the teacher. Okay? Don't mock your teacher. A teacher is always a teacher. Do not mock your teacher. If you know the answers, don't ask. Ask for things you don't know. So demonstrate interest and curiosity, or what you call curiosity. Curiosity is all about wanting to know more. Okay, you need to be a student who like to know more. Don't do like students who are already satisfied with the little they know. It will never help you. You know, learning is a continuous process. As we speak now, even the professors are still learning. People are learning. We are all learning. Okay, so you need to be that student who is willing to learn. If you find new things, always go for it. Do more research on it. You can use your smartphone or your computer to do more research. Okay? Internet provides almost everything for us at zero cost. You just need to make sure that you buy your data and then start browsing. Make sure that you type the correct one. But if you type things which are not relevant, of course, the internet will give you the answers depending on what you have typed. Now, note taking during discussions is also very important. You need to take notes during discussions, not just about lectures, it's also about discussions. So talking, I mean, don't stop taking notes during discussions. It's also very important because when you're discussing, you have very many students uh, who are well versed with some of the concepts, okay? And they're the one leading the discussion. So when they're leading the discussion, please make sure that they take notes. It will supplement on what you've already taken during lecture session. Then the next one is the valuable insights and ideas arise informally. Okay. So informally, idea arising means it's not only in class. It could be anywhere, outside class, outside even studies. Just in your informal or casual talks, you find yourself coming up with new ideas. Then it helps you a lot also to master the concept. So it's not all about classroom, okay, all or lecture room. No, it can be also formally outside, maybe during the weekend or when you're taking beer. You know, some people are good at taking beer when it's evening time or weekend. They go for beer. Then they start brainstorming ideas, start coming. Okay, so don't take it wrong. If you have such idea during beer taking, it's not bad. It's normal. Then instructors emphasize important points during the discussions. Okay, instructors normally emphasize important points when they are discussing. The important point could not be directly the point in the lecture notes, but just a verbal communication in terms of explanations. Okay. In fact, the important point is actually the explanation the teacher is giving. It's very important. You need to take care of them or take note of them. Then continue taking notes, capture crucial content. So it's a continuous process. All the crucial or important content, you need to capture them, don't ignore. So in summary, you are basically focusing on the most important part. Ignore others. Because if you don't ignore others, it means you are not actually taking notes. You are writing the whole paragraph. While you're taking notes, it's just selecting valuable information, then ignore other information which are not necessary. Then taking notes till the end. Don't stop taking minutes before class end. I think we have already looked at that. Instructors often cover critical points in closing minutes. Okay? This is where your presence in class is needed. When they are concluding their lectures, they normally mention crucial points. For example, if you are preparing for examination, the lecturers normally give you what you call overview of the exams, what you expect in the exams. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are there in class up to the last minute because the instructor is going to make a very important point. What you call the moment of truth is normally at the dying minute. So essential information might be summarized then. Okay, this is just like focusing on the main topic or main content. So you need to summarize the essential information than summarizing each and everything. So timely review and study. Revise your notes as soon as possible. Okay. Maintain clarity and freshness of material. Okay. How do you maintain clarity and freshness of material? It means like for us, the tutor, we need to make sure that we update our content all the time. And also you who is doing the research, who is doing a literature review, you need to make sure that you update uh, your notes. Do not only have a note of today until 2020, 30 or something like that. It keeps new things keeps on coming. So you need to be updating your material so that they'll be fresh. Then effective study soon after class leads to better retention. As soon as the class ends and you start revising, the chance of you retaining the information is high. Why? Because the main person who is the lecturer had just left the class. Then some of the words is still in your mind. You have not forgotten them. But if you keep it for 2 months, you're waiting for the timetable to be out, then you will struggle to remember what the lecturer had been saying. You will really struggle. So as soon as the class ends, the lecturer moves out, start revising. As soon as you finish watching the YouTube video, you start revising. But the advantage with this YouTube is that you keep on watching, okay, repeating. Okay? You can even take it back, go forward until you understand the concept. That's the advantage of online studies. So there's nothing like if I've missed it class. No, you have not missed it. You'll come back for it. So that's why online studies become very important. So turn recall words into questions for effective use. So it means to set your own self questions on what you've understood. Set your own self question and then try even to answer them and see if you can manage to pass them or not. And when you are answering them, treat it as examination. Don't open the book. Don't do research or okay. Write the answers. Then later on, after you're done with the answers, go and open your book for comparison whether you are on track or you've gone wrong. So that's what I had for you in the previous presentation, though we didn't finish because of time factors. And today I can tell you that we are done with the study skills. Still we have other parts of study skills, that's the reading skills. I don't know if director will continue with it tomorrow or I would want to continue with reading skills. I don't know. So I want to thank you so much for those who have joined for your time. And for now, I would like to open the floor for suggestion or input or any other